Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday and welcome to the Reset podcast for the Black working class. I am your host, Mr. Andre Clay. And on today's show, we bring you another episode of our Becoming a Boss series that we do here. And on today's show, we have Mr. Curtis Brooks from the Curtis Brooks Media Productions. Today's show will be a special call in show. That number for you will be 708 414 0849. Again, that's 708 414 0849. And with that, let us begin. Now, whether you are an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, whether you own a brick and mortar business, today's show is for you. I would strongly urge you whip out your pens and your paper, take notes because today's guest, Mr. Curtis Brooks of the Curtis Brooks Media Productions, is the technical director for this company, and they offer a full-service digital marketing. Curtis, how you doing today, my brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Thanks for having me, Andre. Appreciate
Oh
you, man.
man, honored to have you on today. Honored to have you on. You
Absolutely,
know,
absolutely.
no problem. On these Becoming a Boss series, Curtis, I try to showcase, different black entrepreneurs and business owners, giving them a chance to have the spotlight on the businesses, the products and services, that they offer to the public. And with that being said, you have a very unique and in my eyes a very valuable kind of business that I think anyone should be very interested in partnering with you and securing your services for. Um, Full service digital marketing. Exactly what is the Curtis Brooks uh, 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 production. I'm sorry, media production service. And how long you been in business,
Okay.
Curtis? How long have you been in business?
Absolutely, man. Again, thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate you, man. Absolutely. Thank you. And also, the Curtis Brooks Media Productions is basically, again, like you said, a full service digital marketing business or entity. I am an entrepreneur, and so for now, I'm doing a lot of the work by myself, but nevertheless, definitely not complaining. And so I'm thankful for the business, absolutely. So I've been in business probably for about 9, 10 years now,
Okay. Okay.
and just kind of going strong. I wasn't always in digital marketing. My background is actually in accounting. Uh, so I'm a numbers guy, and then I worked as a flight attendant for many years, and actually done a host of different things. But it led me here, really just kind of just wanting to make a change, career-wise, and just uh, be my own boss, basically.
Right. Right.
That was the whole
Right.
point of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, with digital marketing, what made you decide to go down that route as far as a business venture for yourself?
Right, right. Yeah, that's a good question. For me, man, I enjoy the creativity piece of, of just putting things together, the colors and just making things pop, and just
Okay.
uh, a unique touch that we all have the opportunity or ability to add to whatever we decide to do, whether it be you with the broadcasting piece of it, we all add our own unique touch and flavor to it. So we kind of talked a little bit earlier. So regardless of how many people are actually in a space, there's something that you uniquely bring to an audience that's going to gravitate towards you, you know.
Sure. Sure.
So there's that again that's what I enjoyed about digital marketing. And I again initially I didn't know what it was, but I had to do the research.
Right.
And so digital marketing is really a kind of a loose term because it just means anything digital content online, such as building websites, such as creating documents
Right.
online. So anything digital, anything in the digital space versus or not versus, but anything in the digital space, meaning in the online arena, is considered if you're creating content for that online space, you could, I guess, call yourself a digital marketer because
Okay.
essentially you're creating content. But the marketing piece of it means that you're using the psychology behind sales, if you will,
Okay.
and presenting that information or that website, not so much just a website in itself, but just the what we call the copy.
Mm-hmm.
And so all websites have copy or what we call long copy or short copy. And so that copy basically is the compelling language that you have put together to speak to your audience, to get them to, you know, get them to say, oh yeah, give me two of these, give me three of these, whatever the
Okay.
case might be. But the copy is a compelling language that really just speaks to your audience and their situation, whatever they may be dealing with, and they, that would convince them to say, hey, you know what? I'm clicking on the buy button right now. This is what I want.
Okay, I got you.
So,
I got you. All right. Well,
mhm,
let me ask you this, Curtis. Okay, 9 years ago,
mhm,
you're getting started.
right.
You're doing your research into the different arenas of this field that you decided to get into. And
Mhm.
if you could, for myself and the audience, who are some of the first customers that 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 sought your services that you saw yourself doing business with?
Really, other entrepreneurs, man, just
Hmm.
really reaching out to other entrepreneurs. Or I really don't like the term solopreneur
Right.
because I don't. I mean, that's just me personally. Teach
Mhm.
his own. But
Mhm.
I think this space as an entrepreneur, no one is out here by themselves, regardless of what it looks like.
True that.
There's always been somebody that another person's gleaned off of, or say, hey, I like that idea. I like what they're doing. So, in most cases, someone's done the work for you, or for you and me both.
Sure.
And I've found their videos, or you found their videos, or there was something out there. Someone has already done the work, and so for us to say that we're a solopreneur and try to make people try to make people think we're out here by ourselves doing it, I don't think that's serves any justice,
I hear you. I
because
hear you.
it truly takes uh, a lot of hands to stir the pot,
Sure.
to get it going, get to build that momentum. So no one person is out here by themselves, though it may seem like you don't have the support. Um, Rest assured, someone's already done the work, and you could be very well watching their video, and they're
Hmm.
giving you the very answers that you need. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of, but
Absolutely.
yeah, ideally, like I said, most my first clients were entrepreneurs, other entrepreneurs, and such as marketing, whether it's marketing, the term marketing as a whole, uh, really is about finding your audience, learning how to speak the language of your audience. And you might hear, in the marketing space, what's your target audience? Your target audience could be age group, it could be a demographics, or just any form of demographics, age group, color, whatever the case might be, background or nationality. So those things that maybe uh, just kind of those that may actually speak to that particular audience, whatever it be, the age group, the color, the background. So you really want to kind of study and know what those keywords, what those people, individuals, what your target audience is searching for. So if you know what you're searching for, I mean, it's the same thing that Google does. Google records everything, every keystroke that you type into Google. If you're searching something, Google records it, because ultimately they're getting into the head of its audience.
Sure.
You and I, we're their audience. And so if they can get into our head, they can actually know what to market to us.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So
along
that's
with some of the services, that I saw on your site that you
mhm,
offer, for instance, let me go back to it. Copywriting. You have team
right.
training, web development, email marketing, brand design and strategy, social media,
Right.
audience analytics, search engine optimization, video creation,
Mhm.
live stream, consulting services, landing pages. I mean, it's a whole buffet of things
Right.
that you're
Absolutely.
offering. When businesses come to you, what are some of the services you see that they most often need?
Most often need is web design, SEO, and copywriting. Those three there are the most three services that are requested.
Okay.
And for me, as the web design piece of it, the web design is important. All three of those things are important, as well as the other items that you mentioned are equally as important. But for me, or again, for the clients potential clients that are coming in and they're asking about the services, again, it's the web design, it's the copywriting, and it's the SEO. And the web design is important. The reason why the web design is important because we again, and speaking that audience language, we want to have that website uh, be appealing by the
Mm-hmm.
colors, by the font. And interesting enough, there's like I don't know how many fonts there are, but there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of different fonts.
Mm-hmm.
And from one font to another font, it differs just slightly.
Sure.
But nevertheless, there are only about 8 fonts that are really uh, from the science of marketing, if you will. There are
Okay.
only about 8 fonts that people respond to.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there are thousands of fonts, but if you look through the web, some of the major pages and or just a lot of the content
At
on
one
the
of those
site
eight.
there on the website, one of those 8 fonts are what people are using because it's appealing to the eye. And
Okay.
this is the science behind it. Because if you can if you can put together if you can put together a plan or some idea and people are responding to it, and then you can create those results over and over, that's what we call science.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a formula,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a theory, if you will, essentially, and it's my job, your job, to prove that theory right or wrong. And obviously, if I have a theory, I'm going to prove it right. So, with compelling information, with different fonts, having tested all these different things, that's why a lot of times with web design, it really makes no sense to try to reinvent the wheel.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, but again, those out of those 8 font are those thousands of fonts, only 8 people respond to. And
Wow.
this is the science behind marketing or digital marketing piece of it, because people just see, like when you're building websites or anything that you're creating content, you want to make the information legible. You want to make it easy. You want to have a concise message because people don't have time to read. They won't take
Sure.
time to read because of all of our busy schedules.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, again, with the web design, essentially the web design is important because you want to have something that's appealing to people by color, by layout, by ease of use. How many websites, have you gone to, or and some of the listeners have gone to, and the website was confusing. You couldn't find certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are equally as important as even as an entrepreneur. So when that potential customer goes to your website, they want to be able to find things really easy. They want to have a concise message that speaks to them. You want to be able to wheel them in just like that.
Right.
And the next, they're clicking on a button to, you know, buy something or make an appointment with you.
Okay. All right. We have one of our viewers today, Ms. Monica Tucker. She agrees with a lot what you said. She says exactly. And she also comments the true, but it is difficult to get clients to understand that. Short, sweat,
Absolutely.
and to the point. Short, sweet, and to the point. White space is
Absolutely.
important. Yes, Monica does the same
Absolutely.
type of business that you
Okay.
do. And she says, I like him. He keeps it real about the industry. All right, girl. That's what's up. That's what's
Absolutely.
up.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
Was she on your show before?
Yes, Monica has been on the show quite a few times.
Because I think
Quite a few times. Yes,
okay,
that's my business
I think I
partner right there.
tuned in to the show that she was. Okay, good deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. Curtis, you mentioned copywriting. If you could, for the audience, explain what that is.
Okay. Copywriting is basically, again, as I said earlier, is that it's writing your spiel, if you will. If you're selling a product, if you're selling a service, offering a service, you've got some content that you've written that's going to be a compelling language to
Okay,
convince
gotcha.
that client or that potential client to click on the buy button, to make an appointment with you. So essentially, the context is the copyright is going to be the your text on your website or on your landing page that's going to be that's going to speak to your audience. Again, as Monica mentioned, it's going to be a concise language, uh, to the point, sweet and to the point.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So it's yeah, it's just a language that you have found again through testing. What we call A and B testing can be done as well, where you might put out a couple of different pages with the language is different, and you see how people are responding. So if people are responding to one or the other, this is the page that you're going to use. So if you got two, A/B and testing, you could have several pages out there. Let's say you got 3 pages. So you got one, two, three, and the second page you find that people are responding to more so than the first and third page. That's the page that you use because that's what people are responding to.
Okay, okay. Well, Curtis, I
Hmm.
noticed with quite a few black businesses, we're very creative with names, right?
Hmm.
Very creative. And I noticed that you offer
Right,
brand
right,
design and strategy.
right,
How best can they
right.
utilize a service like that when we come up with all these colorful names for the businesses, that
Mm.
we own? How best can we utilize your service for that?
I think the best way to utilize my service, or I guess any other service that does brand uh, analyzing and strategy, is to really just to be in the mind of the customer. And oftentimes as black, as I think you're alluding to, as black business owners, we are very creative, absolutely, with names and putting things together. But what happens oftentimes is that we can forget about the audience, and so we come up with a name for the sake of, excuse me, we come up with a name for the sake of how it sounds to us. We
Mm.
come up with colors for the sake of how it looks to us.
Hmm.
And so I could tell you just even further, go into one step further, even colors, Andre, even the colors that are on the website. Kentucky at KFC, I don't eat there, but my point is that they use the color red for a particular reason because red means stop.
Hmm.
Red gets people attention. Apple uses the colors, and if you can actually Google it online, and you can say marketing colors, Google
Hmm.
marketing colors, and you'll get several different charts out there that will or infographics that will show you what colors are used and why these companies are using these colors because people are responding to them because there's a science behind it.
Okay, I got you. Wow, that's
Uh, Apple
very
u-
very interesting.
Apple uses the color gray or however they call it
Hmm.
because it means optimistic, it means peace.
Hmm.
I think John Deere uses green because it means, I mean, it's associated with money, but it's also the green is associated with uh, fruitfulness, earth.
Okay, okay, I can see that. I can
So yeah,
definitely see that.
all these colors are used for a reason, and so you just really don't have to reinvent the wheel. And but again, back to your question is that the reason why I think it's important for black business owners is to, again, to have a target audience because eventually that's who you're selling to.
Yeah.
And if you forget them, it can look good, it can, you know, be colorful and vibrant, but you just don't have to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to.
Right, right. I feel you on that. I feel you on
Yeah.
that. You know, with Facebook, TikTok,
Hmm.
Instagram, YouTube, video is huge. And
Right.
like as you
Right.
mentioned
Absolutely.
before, a lot of folks learn, from the videos that they come across online. How important is it
Hmm. Hmm.
that video creation be a part of the arsenal for today's entrepreneur who's seeking to do more business online, have more of a digital footprint?
Oh, man, wow. Bro, video is huge, and I mean, if you don't have it in your arsenal, or I think you're just losing out on some major opportunities because here's what video does. Video will allow individuals to speak their truths, whatever that may be. And it's not for me
Right.
to judge anyone. That's neither here nor there. But it'll allow the other person, the individual, the business owner to speak their truth concerning to the product or services that they're offering. Not only that, on a customer perspective, the customer can chime in as they're listening. As a customer is listening, a potential customer is listening, they get to see if this person is honest. They can see that about video
Right.
when people are talking.
Right.
So the customer gets to see if the business owner potential or the business owner is honest. You also, as a business owner, you get to establish yourself as an authority. People want to connect with people who know what they're talking about. People want to connect with people who have been in the space. And so, as a business owner, our goal is to be the authority. And so, when you're creating videos, you can create volumes of videos and sectional videos, uh, and put those videos in different in categories, if you will, pertaining to what your audience, what let's just say, sometimes you go to websites or some documentation might say frequently asked questions or something like that. So you can create uh, uh, volumes of videos or different videos that speak to frequently asked questions that your customers are asking about. And again, our goal is to appear as the authority. That really is the number one goal. Because if you know what you're talking about and people trust you, guess what? They're going to be inquiring about you. And again, here comes the science behind it. Marketing is absolutely about numbers. It's a numbers game.
Hmm.
That's all it is. I mean, I don't want to simplify it, but it is pretty simple, but doesn't necessarily make it easy.
Right, right.
But it is a numbers game because it is a numbers game. And so by the individual, the customer, or the business owner appearing as an authority in this space, people in most cases don't want to do the work themselves. And so if I ask them questions, it gives an opportunity for the business to show themselves friendly, themselves the authority that they know what they're about. They answer those questions. And if you keep asking the questions, guess what happens? Next thing you know, the customer, in most cases, will hire you, because if you've already got the customer's attention and they feel comfortable enough to ask you a question, it's highly likely that the customer will eventually ask you to help them out with something. And this is the science behind it, because you put out some content out there, again, that speaks to their issue, their challenge, and you're telling them that I can help you figure this out. I've
Right,
been where you're at. I understand that. I know
right.
how this works. And so now they start to ask you questions. And once they start to ask you questions, you build a trust. And doesn't mean that you just go after them, but just sometimes you have to wait, you
Okay,
know, kind
okay.
of as someone said to me a while ago, sometimes you have to set the trap and just leave it,
Gotcha,
so to
gotcha,
speak.
gotcha, gotcha. I feel you.
So,
Well, I wanted to
yeah.
get your opinion too, Curtis. And for everybody that's viewing today, today's show is a call-in show. That number will be 708-414-0849. Again, that number is 708-414-0849. Curtis, I did want to ask you, on some of the social media sites, we are like your Facebook, YouTube, they offer their own separate ways in which content creators or can make money, can somehow
Right.
monetize themselves. Um, in your opinion, are any of these two avenues a sustaining way to generate revenue for oneself? The social media side of it, or is it better another tool in your arsenal of marketing tools to use to advance your business?
Hmm. I think you have to, behind it, be it Facebook, TikTok, and some of the other platforms that are out there that offer, the social media, like you said, marketing and things of that nature. You have to really be on your toes, because these companies they're in it to make money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't know what you're doing, not you, but just in general,
Right.
if the business owner doesn't know what they're doing, and yet though these services are offered, if you don't know what you're doing, you can end up spending a bunch of money into an area where people, you know, they don't know anything about your product, they don't even care about your product. Basically, you just haven't done your research.
Mm.
And so you just want to be mindful that, that these companies are in it to make money. and they know that people need to advertise, and the worst thing any company can do is lose their marketing department.
Okay.
You
Okay.
might, accounting is important and a lot of the other important, but if you lose
Sure.
your marketing department, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think again, you have to know that these companies are in it to make money themselves, and they're really kind of banking on the fact that you don't know what you're doing.
Okay. Okay.
That's how they make their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it really will, does behoove all of us to, not all of us, but those who are into the digital marketing space or deciding to start their own business, to really just learn how that advertising works. And even if you don't do it or you decide to hire someone to do the social media advertising, have some understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
Have some understanding of it rather than just, and say, hey, just handing somebody over some money and say, hey, you just build me an ad and, put something together for me. You don't want to do that. You want to be involved in the work and the outcome, and knowing at least what, at least having the language down. It's something, at least, again, knowing at least sounding like a little bit about it.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to come to this question. As we all know, with many folks trying to start a business, the initial investment is always one of the
Mm,
first hurdles
absolutely.
to get over. It's most challenging,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so,
Right, right.
as valuable as the services that you have that a business needs, what are some of the average costs so folks can know to make it a part of their budgets? What are some of the
Right,
average
right, right,
costs
right.
in some of the services that you see the businesses need, and the services that you offer?
Okay. I would say it's hard to, I would say in a regards to a website, uh, in an area of at least 15 to 1600 bucks on a website, at
Mm-hmm.
least.
Mm-hmm.
And and again, the investment piece of it, that's a great question, Andre. The investment piece is huge. We can have dreams, but it still, you know, uh, takes an investment.
Yeah.
And so I would say as far as website design, probably at least minimum 1600, 15 to 1600 bucks. And again, that website is going to be for any business owner. Uh, it's going to be their virtual their virtual space, their virtual
Mm-hmm.
stake in this arena, if you will, called digital marketing,
Right.
called online marketing, or online services that they're offering, whatever it might be, products that they're selling. So I think a website is absolutely important because in most cases people are going to ask you, and from my experience, people are asking, the first thing they ask you, oh, do you have a website?
Sure.
And if you don't have a website, in most cases you don't even exist to them.
Right.
And
That's right.
so I think it's important to to again to set the stage with that piece of it, to say, hey, I'm representing, I'm here, you know, I'm going to be counted amongst those who are a viable candidate for business opportunities. So website, I would say the SEO. I think we mentioned that briefly earlier, and that's important. And it depends. The SEO piece of it varies tremendously. It really depends because it depends on how much research you want to, how much time you want to spend on it. Because after you do the SEO, you're going to have to write the copy. And so
Mm-hmm.
the SEO, the website, the SEO, and the copy. I'll start with this copy, or excuse me, this SEO being the second piece of it. SEO stands for search engine optimization. And
Okay.
so search engine optimization, according to Google, is essentially, it's actually kind of really simple, but that search engine optimization is optimizing your website for searchability
Okay.
on Google. Okay. And so that means that, like if you got a title, if you got the name of your website, or if you got a title, or what they want you to use is in the way of what they call putting your website together, is H1 tags, or H1 an H1 font. The H1 will be the size of the font, so it's going to be H1 through H6.
Mm.
Okay, so if you got a title, you want to use H1, and that's how Google. So someone It's searching for your website. You got a title. You want to use an H1 font for that, or at least that size of a font.
Okay.
And if you got if you've got stories on your website, or like let's say an article, you might use an H2.
Okay.
Okay. And so what makes you want to use H2 is the heading for that story. And you might want to use an H3 for yet even to break that story down further, another section within that story.
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
then so what you want to do is, so even with your H2 font, your H2 headings, you can have titles. And then you mention whatever title you use, you want to use that title within the body of that story.
Okay. Okay. I
You get what I'm
got you.
saying?
I
And
got
so
you.
if you use an H1 being the larger of the
Right.
font size,
Right.
you want to uh, because that's how they're going to find you. So that H1 font that you're using, or at least the size for the font being H1, you can use a creative title.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's what makes the your website or your landing page
Okay.
searchable, is by
Okay.
the title and what people are searching for. And then so let's say you write, you put together a story, and your H1 font is the size of your font is H1, and it's going to be, you use a creative title, okay? But then you want to mention that creative title. You want to mention whatever that title you're using. You want to make sure you mention it again within the story, at
Within the
least
story.
2 to 3 times
Okay.
within the
Okay.
story, okay?
Okay.
And then so let's just say you are writing yet another story, and you got another story within that page there, on the same page or on a different page on your website. You want to use an H2 as a header font. The size of your font is an H2, and you can have that creative title with that, and then you want to make sure you mention that creative title within the context, with the
Within the
body of that
context,
story.
the body of it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, within the
Wow.
body of that story. And so
Wow.
that's what they call, again, the SEO part. And so that's how Google finds you. And then you want to also use uh, you also want to use other redirects. For instance, like you have a link to a article that speaks to what you're writing about.
Okay. Okay.
So that's I forget. I'm sorry, I forget the term comes to me, skips my mind. But so someone clicks on that link for Google, that means, or that says to Google that your story is not something that you put together, but it's also validated because someone else
Right.
wrote it too.
Exactly. Got you.
Someone else is writing about it too.
Got
So
you.
you want to also have those links. You um, I'm sorry, I apologize, but you still want to have those kind of links, and then you want to have those links within your page that link to other pages.
Got you. Got
So
you.
that's going to help
Understand.
you with your searchability, and yeah, it's pretty easy. One plugin that I use, and a lot of people, I use a lot of WordPress. I build websites for WordPress, so one plugin is really absolutely pretty good. It's called Yoast,
Yoast.
Yoast. So if
ST.
you're building a WordPress website, that actually sometimes they come with, I think they kind of made some changes, but you might have to look for it. But it's called Yoast, and they help you with a lot of local SEO and SEO in general, and just you can answer a lot of questions in regards to
Very good.
making
Okay.
that website search, so that you're able to find it on Google.
All right. All right, man. Very valuable information. And
Yeah,
Ms. Monica
absolutely.
chimed in. She wanted to add business owners should take advantage of the free classes offered to improve their understanding of marketing,
Absolutely.
especially on social
Absolutely.
media. Google, HubSpot, Facebook all have free
Hmm.
courses, but sometimes it's still necessary to hire a professional to accompany what the
Right.
owner already knows. Couldn't agree more. Could not
Absolutely.
agree more.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Wow.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
sometimes it's just that, as Monica said, it's absolutely important. It's imperative to know, even if you don't do the SEO yourself, again, like I was saying earlier, it's important to know something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just go in there blindly and say, here's my money, and build me something.
Right.
Uh, so it's definitely important to know, at least you know what you're talking about, or at least have some idea what it's about. But uh, I apologize. I'm gonna skip my mind here, but yeah,
It's all right.
Monica's absolutely correct on that what she was saying to her. But
All
so,
right.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. It's all good. Very, man, very valuable information you have offered us all here
Yes, sir.
today, Curtis. I greatly appreciate it. And look, anyone interested in contacting you for service, where can everybody reach you?
They can connect with me. Again, the website is going to be curtisbrooksmediaproductions.com. That's the website. And you can email me. There should be an option on the page to email me or to send me a message. But then also you can email me directly if you decide not to go to the website. That email address is going to be curtisbrooksmediaproductions@gmail.com. Once more, Curtis Brooks Media Productions with an S at gmail.com.
Oh, wow, man. Thanks again, my brother, for being on the show. And again, folks,
Absolutely.
reach out. You know you need the help. Go on, get
Right.
it. All right, Curtis. Well, looks, man, thanks again for being on the reset today. And everyone, enjoy your Sunday. We'll holla. Stay
All
with me,
right. Thanks
Curtis.
for having me.